Hello everyone and welcome to Meet Me at the Table. This is Colin and today we are going to do a prototype playthrough of the Malice of Light Adventures. This is by Adam and Brady Sadler. I'm so excited for a new Sadler Brothers game. My personal favorite Sadler game is actually the Warhammer Quest adventure card game, and you're going to see there's a lot of pieces of this game that's going to be similar to that, but they also have Street Masters, Brook City, and who can forget Alter Quest. There's tons of other Sadler Brother games, but this one, I am really excited to see where it goes. You are going to see this is very much a prototype version of the game. If you would like, there's a playthrough that Mike has on One Stop. He uses two characters and just does Act 1. And then Steve and Kim also do a playthrough. They actually do all three acts, utilizing two of the four characters that came in this demo version. Because of that, what I'm thinking of doing is showing you a solo version of this game. So I'm only going to control one hero. We're at least going to get to the final act. We'll see how far we can get in it, but we'll do Act 1, Act 2, and then the boss fight. I'm excited. I can't wait to show this to you. Do note, this is a prototype. Rules are going to be changing very likely. All of the components are, of course, prototype quality, so don't watch this for rules. Just watch this to see if you're interested. I believe sometime in February, the Game Founder Kickstarter will be happening, and when I know it's happening and I have a link for it, I'll put that in the description below. Without further ado, let's go ahead and do a quick setup and just start our playthrough so you can see if this is a game that you'd like to back. I almost forgot to mention Paul Grogan will also have a live playthrough of this. I'll put a link in the description below once that is live as well. So you've got tons of different content that you can see for this game. All right, let's first talk about our hero. I've decided to use Deanna. Deanna is a melee character. She is going to be fun. She's strong. She can cleave, fortify, and battle cry. We have three action cards here. Think of this similar to, if you know Warhammer Adventure card game, we had, explore, attack, rest, and all of that jazz. These are our three main actions that we can take during our turns. One lets us attack. We have a melee attack here. One lets us explore, which helps us take care of scheme cards. And one lets us prepare, which we can use to either gain some insight, which is just auto successes that we can use, or it can let us heal or recover some of our cards. Each hero will start with 12 health, and one of the ways you lose this game is during the final battle, when you're actually fighting the villain and you end up losing all of your health, you lose the game. That's one of the main ways you're going to lose the game. You can win the game in the final battle if you defeat the villain. We also, because we're playing solo, we get two upgrades that normally you would not get if you were playing with 2 to 4 players. These would actually be underneath lock tokens for Act 1 and Act 2, but for Act 1 and Act 2 we get 2 free upgrades. And there's 3 different types of upgrades. Let's see, both of these are actually dice upgrades. So you can see these cards have these lock symbols on them. Every time we collect a discovery token and it has one of these dice symbols, we can unlock one of those on one of our action cards. So I think I'm going to upgrade both my cleave and my fortify. Yeah, that sounds good. So now for both of those actions for the rest of the game, I'll get to roll 2 hero dice instead of only 1. Each hero will come with a talent deck and a relic deck. You shuffle both of those up. You start with 1 talent in your hand. It states it's your starting talent. Ours is counter attack. Play this card when an enemy in your area is assigned one of the claw results. Cancel that result and deal a damage to that enemy. Or we can use it when we have a crit. We can utilize this, and it says each hero within range gains 1 of the guard symbols. And unlike in Warhammer Adventure card game, where your guard and your focus was limited, here if I gain guard, I can keep it for future turns, which is great. I think it's the max is 5 because that's the max I can see on my player board. These relics and talent cards will be gaining through the discovery tokens. So I could have gained one of those actually right now with gaining those 2 free discovery tokens to start the game, but I ended up not doing that just randomly. Your hero will always start the game in the location on the board that has this symbol. Now, if there are multiples of those symbols on the board, then you evenly spread out the heroes that are playing. Since we're playing solo, nice and simple, we're starting here. Once we've chosen our hero, we then need to choose our environment, our villain, and which of the different minion sets we're going to use. Now, the thing for us, since we're playing with the demo version, we all had the same ones. So we're going to be using for our minions, both the goblins and the undead. There are 6 cards of each, so I have 12 that we'll use for Act 1. I've got 12 different ones we'll use for Act 2. And then for Act 3, we'll just be using the Act 2 minions while we're also fighting the villain. We also only have one villain to go against, and that is Fendra. Fendra will start off on the board, but we cannot defeat her during Acts 1 and Acts 2. We can remove her from the board temporarily if we deal her damage equal to what she has here, which is actually only 1 health because it's 1 times the amount of players, and we're only playing with 1 player. That means if we deal her 1 damage, we can actually remove her from the board, but then she'll likely respawn from the encounter cards. For our villain cards, we have an Act 1 card and an Act 2 card, and then when we get to the finale, I'll explain how the finale cards work. It's important to note when you see the symbol on the top right for the different enemies, that tells you if they are melee or range characters. Fendra will be range, so she likes to or can only attack at range 1. She cannot attack if we're in her space. She'll first have to move out of it. Each villain will come with 3 different scheme cards, one that is orange, one that's green, and one that's blue. We start each of these at level 1s, and for Act 1 and Act 2, the villain's main goal is going to be trying to get these upgraded. There's actually 3 versions, and they get worse and worse as they go. How the villain is able to upgrade their scheme cards is by not allowing us to complete the schemes for the specific environment that we're playing in. So in our first environment, that is going to be the Hollowwood Ravine, we have these 3 schemes we need to remove. In Act 1, we need to place 1 peril token on each of these cards, and what our goal is to remove that peril and get 1 more success to actually remove this card. If we can do that, then at the end of Act 1, this card, the scheme card for the villain, will not upgrade. If we can't do that by the end of Act 1, then those specific scheme cards will upgrade. So we're going to be moving around the board trying to explore and get rid of these specific scheme tokens. If, let's say, we were playing with 2 players, for Act 1, we'd have 2 peril tokens on each of these, and then you're going to see we'll place more tokens on there for Act 2, and then for Act 3, or I should say the final battle, we'll be placing peril tokens on Fendra's specific scheme cards, and these may have upgraded, and we have to remove those before we can defeat Fendra. After choosing which villain you're going to take on, you need to choose which environment you're going to fight on for Act 1, Act 2, and then the environment is decided for you based upon the villain for the finale. Now, in this demo version, we only have 2 different environments, but the plan and goal will be you'll have lots more to choose from. And you know, the Sadler Brothers games are great at having modularity. That's the best part, mix and match different parts. So this first Hollowed Ravine, we have our encounter set up. You can see there's no additional setup needed for this one. It says scheme tokens are considered to be in each area adjacent to them, 2 areas per scheme. When the villain moves to a scheme token, it moves to the area furthest from a hero. Scheme tokens on the map are walls. Once a scheme token is removed, its icon on the map is a normal border. Enemies always treat scheme token icons and scheme tokens as normal area borders, so they can move through them, but we can't. We have a set of 6 encounter cards. We're just going to shuffle these up. At the end of each of our turns, we'll be drawing these, and they're going to be spawning more minions, and they'll be potentially causing schemes to activate, or at least having Fendra move towards those specific schemes. Fendra needs to be spawned in the zone that houses the leftmost scheme token, and that for us is always going to be the blue token, so that'll help us know where Fendra needs to be spawned. So you can see both of these locations are adjacent to this, so Fendra always wants to be farther away from the heroes in this specific encounter set, the Hollowwood Ravine. So she will start off here. We have more discovery tokens face down here. We can use a ploy action to flip those over, and that is how we have to level up. If we are playing with 2 to 4 players, we'd have 2 more, one here and here, that were underneath a lock symbol, and we need to find a key in this search deck to be able to unlock those. We don't have to do that for solo because really you're just not going to have enough time. Remember that these are walls for us, so for us to move into here, we would have to either clear this or we have to go all the way around. And I think it's safe to say we all know we're going to be trying to clear those peril tokens as fast as we can. That is going to be one of our main goals. Now, before we start our game, we also need to spawn 1 minion engaged with us. The minion we drew was the Arcathian Commoner. This guy's got 3 health. He attacks for 1 damage whenever we roll the claw symbol on the dice. He has 1 inherent armor. This is what he's going to do during the enemy activation, and this tells us how he attacks, so he only attacks if he's in your space. Just like Warhammer Adventure card game, the max amount of cards you can have engaged with you is 3. If ever you would need to place a 4th card engaged with you, instead you discard the top card of the event deck. basically giving you one less round in that specific act. And during the finale, that matters because every time that deck is empty and you need to draw a card, you'll shuffle them up and then the villain assaults you, which isn't great. Now, although we spawned that commoner engaged with us, it's in our threat area, he's not in the same area as us on the board. He has to spawn in one of these 4 locations. The first rule for spawning is to find a spawn space with the fewest number of enemies. So that'd be here, here, or here. Then we have to look at which ones are closest to the hero. So this one is 1, 2, 3 away, and this one is only 1, 2 away. So that's why we spawned him here. This is where we've deviated a bit from Warhammer Adventure card game. Even though the card is in our threat area, he's not actually in our area right now. So if we roll one of the claws on this die, instead of him being able to attack us, he's going to simply move towards us. I actually find this really fascinating how they handled having enemies in your threat area but not actually engaged with you. And sometimes they might not even attack you if you've got more players. They may attack somebody else if someone else is already in range. Excited to show you how it works. I think we're all set up. Let's look at how a turn structure works and then just start our playthrough. We start the game in our hero phase. We get to do these 3 different actions in any order we'd like. We may move one area. We may do a ploy, performing one of the following 3 actions: move an additional area, heal 2, and refresh 1 card. What happens with cards is when you play them, so let's say we use this counter attack, it goes into our exhausted pile, or exerted pile, I guess. We can then refresh that and put it back into our hand. Or we can search, either claim a discovery token in our area or just draw a search card. We can do one of 3 actions, and those 3 actions are what's on our board, and we have to choose one of those. We always have to do one of those. So the ploy and the move are optional, but the action is required, and you'll see those actions in play as we go. We then need to activate all enemies in our threat area from left to right. They will either be moving, attacking, or inflicting damage. We can use guard to block that, and then after that we'll draw 1 event card. Once we cannot draw an event card, and there's 6 of them. So once we have that 7th turn and there are no event cards that we can draw from, that will end Act 1. We'll then move to Act 2, do the same thing, and then we'll move to the finale. And I will say, even if we're defeated in Act 1 and Act 2, you come back, you'll heal up some health, and you can continue playing. But once you die during the finale, you're out for the game and it's done. I think it's safe to say we'd like to take care of this peril token as soon as possible. We're going to need 2 successes to take that out. And with my Fortify action, that allows me to explore, which allows us to place success tokens or I should say remove peril tokens from that scheme. So I think I will do my move here, and then let's activate our Fortify. Our Fortify action states that we can gain 2 guard at the beginning of it. And something I should call out, unlike with Warhammer, these don't get exhausted, so I could use Fortify every single turn if I would like. We then have the Explore option. When we explore, we're going to roll our hero dice and determine how many successes we have, and for each success, we can remove 1 peril from the scheme in the acting hero's area, or we can reveal 1 search card. At the end of the action, resolve 1 revealed search card and shuffle the rest back into the deck. So if I used multiple successes to draw multiple search cards, I only have to resolve 1. That's important because there are some traps in there. So because of where we are on our Fortify card, we can see we actually get to roll 2 hero dice instead of 1. These dice are going to look very familiar if you've seen any other Sadler Brothers games. We have shields that block damage, and what's interesting about this game, if I choose not to use that shield, I can actually bank it for later. Same thing with successes. If ever I don't want to use a success, I can bank it for later and give it as insight. So that's something that's quite different from the other iterations of this game. But there are single hits. There's a shield that's really your only miss on this die. There's a 2-hit. This is a crit. Crits can be used for 2 different things. 1, it's an exploding die, so it counts as a success, and you roll another die in. Or I could then play this card and use this bottom effect, but then I don't get to roll in an additional die. So each hero within range 1 gains 1 guard. The other sides of the die are a single success, a success, and a shield, and I think that's it. Unfortunately, even though we're in an area where there are no enemies, the enemies in our threat area are still going to harass us. For every enemy that's there, we need to roll 1 red die. If we roll this claw symbol, if they're within range of whatever range type they are going to deal us this damage here. So that'd be 1 damage. This commoner, though, is not in our space. So if I roll this, it's just going to move one space closer to us to try and get into our space so it can attack us later. If we roll this symbol, it's called a treachery, and we activate the treachery effect on the villain card. Fendra's treachery ability is she strikes you, but she's not going to be able to do that because she's not within range 1. If unable to, she'll place 1 peril on the scheme nearest to her, which is going to be the blue one. We'll now roll up our dice and see what we get. Oh my gosh, 4 gosh darn successes, and we have a claw. So you always resolve your hero dice first, and then you resolve the enemy dice. And even if your hero dice would defeat the enemy will still get to activate their claw before being discarded, because essentially they're happening at the same time. For the first 2 successes, we're going to remove this peril token for sure, and then we can discard this card. That means that Fendra's secret here will not upgrade at the end of Act 1. I have 2 more successes, and now what I could choose is drawing maybe 2 more search cards, or I could bank 1 potentially, or 2 as insight. I think I'm going to bank 1 as insight and then draw 1 search card. We'll draw our top search card, and we have the map. Discard this card to either move or take 1 item from the search discard pile. Well, that's nice. I do want to call out, everything carries forward to Act 2 except for your search cards, so use them or lose them during the act. For that 4th and final success, we'll gain 1 insight, which we can use as a success later in the game. We'll also remove this scheme token from the board. After resolving our hero dice, we have to resolve the enemy die, and that means this commoner is going to activate. He attacks melee. We're not in his space. So you know what he's going to do? He's just going to move into our space, which isn't terrible, especially because we now still can do a ploy, and I have an idea. Why don't we discard this map, shall we? That is going to allow us to move 1 space. We're going to move here, and I should say no enemies or anything blocks your movement in this game. You can move through enemies, no problem at all. Then our ploy will be to reveal this discovery token. Oh, we get a relic. So that means we could just get to draw the top relic card. This will go into our hand with our counterattack, and we have our harvester. Play this card before your cleave action to add a crit and a regular hit to the result of the action. That is going to help us kill things. We've now completed our hero phase. All the enemies in our threat area will now activate. We'll start with that grasp. It says, if this enemy is in your area, it's not, but then it's going to move, and then it's going to inflict 1 damage. Lucky for us, we have 2 guards, so we'll just decrease this down to 1. The commoner will move into our space, and that's why they caused us to lose 1 guard. That ends the enemy activation. Now we just draw the top event card. We have the Shadow's Reach. The first thing we need to see, do we have the villain in the location or area of this specific scheme? No, it's actually in the blue area. So because of that, it will teleport to this area instead of activating the scheme. Then after that, we have to place 1 peril on the Shadowed Thicket. And we can do that. If we were unable to, each hero would lose 1 insight. Fenra will jump herself over to here. Once again, she wants to be farther away from us, so she could go here or here to be in that same area. Well, she's going to be farther away from us. And the Shadowed Thicket will have a 2nd peril token, so now it's going to take 3 successes to get rid of this card instead of only 2. That completes our first round. You can see the game is nice and snappy solo. So for our next turn, we're going to move out of this space. I want to take care of this scheme. I need 3 successes here. Good thing I kept 1 insight. So we're going to do a fortify action yet again. This will mean, once again, we gain 2 more of our guard, and then we'll explore. Rolling up 2 blues and 1 red, we have 2 basic successes. I'm going to use my insight for a 3rd, so I have 3 successes, and nothing is happening with the commoner. 3 successes will be enough to clear this card, and we've already taken care of 2 out of the 3 schemes. We can also remove this scheme token right here. Now there's only 1 left, this blue one. You can see this environment is pretty easy. The next one won't be as easy, and then the finale is definitely not easy. Then we will jump into here for our ploy, because I don't think there's anything else we want to do. I'd love to pick this up, but I think we're going to have to do that for our ploy action next time. Now we have to resolve our enemies. We know the commoner would try and grasp, but no one's in that location. He's going to move 1 closer to us, so move this way, and then try and inflict damage, but we're not in that location. So that's it. We'll then draw our next card. This one is called the Forgotten Supplies. first things first, we have to spawn another minion, and then we will have Fendra jump to the blue scheme token. Won't activate the blue scheme because, well, she's not there. That's one of the weirdest parts of this game. I wish this would just trigger them, but whatever. Each hero may exert to draw one search card, and exerting means you discard one card from your hand for no effect. We're not going to do that. The minion that we're drawing is this green neck archer that loves to attack range. Gross. We'll jump Fendra over to this location, and then we have to spawn this goblin. It can either go here, range 2 away from us. Can't go here because there's already a monster there, an enemy. So it could go here, which is 1, 2, 3. So definitely going to go to this location. That completes our second turn. I think our third turn, we're going to start with that ploy. Ooh, we get to draw 2 talent cards and have one that we can keep. We'll draw up our first talent card. It's Charge, or we have Tactical Advantage. Okay, this one says, play this card before your cleave action to gain 1 insight. Then you may choose a hero in your area, and we can choose ourselves. That hero may move. Ooh. This one, play this card before your fortify action. You may exhaust an enemy in your area. During this action, you may add 1 success to your results for each exhausted enemy. That is also cool, but I like the idea of killing enemies and getting extra moves, so I'm going to take the Charge. This one just gets shuffled back in, so we might see it later. Speaking of which, I think we're going to use our Charge card. Play this card before your cleave action to gain 1 insight. So you can see I'm at 0, now I'm at 1. Then you may choose ourselves, we're going to be able to move. I'm realizing I did this in the wrong order, but that's fine. I'm going to pretend I moved first before using that Charge, which lets me charge into here, and now I'm going to do a melee attack. 2 dice that are going to be hero, but now I've got 2 enemies engaged with me, so 2 red dice. We only need 2 successes to take this archer out, and we've got 3, but we do have a claw. We'll need to use all 3 of those successes to take out this archer. The archer has 1 armor, so that blocks 1, and then 2 more is going to take it out. That also means we get to draw a search card, and we have a key, which is absolutely useless. That's not going to be able to do anything. Discard this card to either resolve a locked discovery token in your area, or search the search deck for a card of your choice. Oh, that's actually not as bad as I was thinking. We can actually choose one. All right, so we can choose when to use that search card when we'd like. We also need to resolve this claw. Now, we only got 1 claw. This is where it gets kind of interesting. You'd think we're attacking this archer. The archer would get the claw, but no. It is the one on the farthest left that will get the claw if you only roll 1 claw for the 2 characters. So we're going to activate the commoner here. He's not in range 0 of us, so he's just going to move 1 space closer. And then we'll be able to remove this card. We'll take the archer off the board and move this guy 1 closer to us. He's slowly rambling towards us. Speaking of which, he's then going to activate, doing that grasp. We're not in his area. Then he's going to move and he'd try and inflict, but he can't. That means we're already going to draw our next event card. Your turns go fast in this game. The Shadow's Reach. We're going to spawn another minion. And then we can see here Fendra would want to go to the green scheme, but it's not on the board, so she's not going to go anywhere. Then we have to place 1 peril on the Shadowed Thicket. We can't do that, so we're just going to lose our 1 insight. We don't have any insight. The minion that we draw is another commoner. That one is going to spawn in our location, so we've got these 2 zombies chasing us down. One thing I would like to call out for our cleave. After this action, deal 1 damage to each enemy in your area. Because we took out the enemy in our area, that did nothing. Even though the commoner was in our threat area, it's not in our actual area on the board, so we don't get to deal damage to that commoner. But when it says deal 1 damage, that does go through their shields, which is nice. For our next turn, I'd really like to level up once again, so I'm going to move into here and do our ploy action of flipping this over. We get another relic. This means we get to flip our next relic card, and we have the Brassen Tinderbox. Play this card during a hero's explore action. That hero may add a success and a shield to the results of that action. That is awesome. That will also go to our hand. So our hand right now, we have all 3 of these cards. Plus, we have this key that we might want to use at some point. And I'm thinking I might actually use it right now to grab that map so that we get a free move. So I'm going to grab the map, and then I'm going to discard the map for a free move. That move is going to allow us to move into this space, and now we can cleave again. I don't think I'm going to play any cards. I need a total of 3 + 1, 4 successes. I'm rolling 2 dice. I could use the Harvester, but I think I'm going to hold on to it. Looking for 4 successes here. Well, we have a crit. Oh, we have one of the treacheries. That's gross. So now with that crit, I could use one of these cards' crit abilities, like this one giving us shields, but I don't want that. I want extra successes. So I'm going to roll this in. 1, 2, 3 total successes. That's going to work. 3 successes is 2 damage to this commoner. So we'll deal 2, but he's not dead yet. Then, because of that treachery, Fendra is going to place another peril on the Abyssal Rift. That is because she cannot strike us. I almost prefer that she could strike us, because now it's going to take 3 successes to clear this one out. The claw symbol will be activated on the blue commoner, which means he's going to move 1 space into our location because he can't attack us at range, which is kind of perfect because now we can cleave. After this action, deal 1 damage to each enemy in your area. Because now both of these enemies are in our area, we'll deal the 3rd damage to this red one. He's going to be off the board and deal 1 to the blue one. And we get to draw a search card. Now let's say we had killed 2 enemies in this turn. You only ever get to draw 1 search card. We have the Flickering Key Shard. Discard this card during an Explore action to roll 1 additional hero die for that. I'll take that. Now that we've completed our hero turn, we do have to deal with this commoner, and Grasp is going to go off. If this enemy is in your area, yes it is, we either lose 1 insight, which we don't have any, or suffer 2 damage. So I'll lose 2 guard. We're back down to 1. Then he's going to move. Well, he's not going to move. He's already in our area, and he's going to attack us for 1. We have 1 more guard, so still no damage, but we lost all of our guard. We then have to draw our event card, and we have Forgotten Supplies. Oh no, this is for Fendra. She is in the location of this blue scheme, so she is going to scheme. And then we could each exert to draw a search card. I'm not going to do that. The ability on the scheme card is the Abyssal Rift. The villain moves to the next nearest scheme token. Well, there aren't any. If unable, each hero suffers 2 damage. So we're going to take our first 2 damage. We're down to 10 health. That ends this turn. We have 2 more event cards. That means we have 3 more rounds and then we're done. I'd like to at least level up 1 more time, and we need to get rid of that scheme. So I know I can move once here. I could use a ploy to move again and then deal with that scheme. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move here, and we're going to fortify. Look at us running away from the undead. So we'll gain 2 guard, and then we get to roll 2 dice for this explore. And then after that, I didn't talk about this before because it didn't matter, we could spend 1 guard to heal 2, and I might actually do that. I'm hoping for 3 successes on 2 dice. Well, there's 3 successes with a crit. Oh my gosh, there's another crit. So I'm going to use a token here to denote that I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I can roll this one in again. Wow, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 total successes and nothing from that commoner. 3 successes will take this card out, no problem. And the final 2 I'm going to save as insight. I definitely think that is worth it. So we already did our move, and we did our ploy to move an additional space, so that ends our turn. We can't forget to remove this token because we've removed the final scheme token, and the commoner would first try and grab, then move, and then try and inflict, but he can't. He's not within range, and then we'll just draw our event card. We can ignore all the scheme symbols now. We'd have to place 1 peril on Lashing Vines. We can't. Each enemy moves 1 area towards the hero they're engaged with. That just means this commoner gets a little bit closer. That's fine. For our next turn, then, we most certainly are going to move into here. And then for our ploy, we'll flip this over. We get a dice upgrade. It really becomes the question of, do we want Cleave or Fortify? I like Battle Cry, but I think I've got to go Fortify so I can be more successful on removing those schemes. That's going to be very important. My Cleave gives me extra damage. I'm not great at exploring, so this will help. We're now going to try the Battle Cry action. We are going to prepare. You can use successes from a prepare action. The target hero may choose 1 card to be refreshed at the end of this action, or the target hero may gain 1 focus or 1 guard of their choice. And we can decide that for each success. I'm hoping to get my charge back, so I'm going to roll this up. We get 1 success. Yeah, let's grab our charge and we'll put that back into our hand. That means we have all of these cards. So we have, what, 2 talent cards and 2 relics that are ready. Once again, somehow this commoner can't seem to do anything right. He keeps rolling blanks. After completing prepare, we may either gain 1 insight. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to 3. or engage one minion with the targeted hero. So we can actually give someone else, if we were playing with more than one character, we could give them some of that insight or whatever things that we're rolling for, and then we could take that enemy and engage it for them, because our cleave, we want enemies in the same space. We don't have to worry about that for playing solo. The commoner is now going to activate, cannot grasp, we're not in its area, but it then will move and attack us for 1, so we decrease our guard by 1. We'll move that commoner into our space. Then we draw our event card, and this is our last event card, so that means we only have one more turn. Okay, we're going to spawn one more enemy, and this says we can't place a peril on there. If unable to, each enemy moves one area towards the hero they're engaged with. Joke's on you, you're already there. So I have one more action. What do I want to do? I unfortunately don't have a way of getting over here. Well, maybe I could. No, the charge would let us move, but it's going to let us move here. Oh, we could charge here, then move, and then our ploy is to move here, but then we can't activate it. Yeah, that seems silly. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to prepare ourselves for the next act, and I think we'll do that by fortifying. Fortify will allow us to gain 2 more shields, so we've done that. Let's explore with 3 dice. We'll roll up our dice, and we have 2 total successes, and we have a crit. Let's just keep rolling them in, shall we? So we have 2 successes, 3 total successes. Why don't we reveal 3 search cards and see if we find anything useful? Well, we found a trap. You may spend 1 focus to discard this card and draw a new search card, otherwise suffer 2 damage. We have discard this card to heal 3, or we have another trap. You may spend 1 focus to discard this card, otherwise you suffer 2 damage. I found the 2 spike traps. Well, I think we're going to do the healing potion, and let's just use that to heal to full for sure. We then still have a move and a ploy, so we're just going to do both of those, getting ourselves far enough away so when this commoner activates, he try and grasp, and then he moves, and he tries to inflict. We're not there. There's no more events. We're done with Act 1. That was fast. Let's jump ourselves to Act 2. We've now set up for Act 2. We're at the ruins of Arcath. I love the different environments and how it looks. You can see now we have different rooms we have to get into. Now these scheme tokens are actually in a specific area instead of cradling 2 different areas. Once again, Fendra will start in that blue zone. She'll always start there. That's just because of the random setup of my scheme cards. We do start the act with 1 enemy engaged with us. We have another commoner, but this one is going to be a level 2. I'll show you that in a second. And then once again, there are 2 of these discovery tokens. We get those for free that are normally locked because we're playing solo. Let's see what they are. We have a dice unlock and we have a talent upgrade. So we get to grab a talent. Well, the dice, that's not a question. We want our cleave fully loaded and operational, so both of these are good to go. I will say there are an exact number of these discovery tokens, and there was one we didn't find last time, so that means that upgrade will never happen. But you will never get too many upgrades for your dice or anything like that, or talent cards. There's always enough for all of the upgrades because you use all of the discovery tokens each time. We're going to flip over our talent cards. We have Death Blow. Play this card before your cleave. It gains 1, or you gain 1 insight, and it gains Pierce 1. Yeah, this one is for Battle Cry. I haven't even upgraded that. I'm just going to shuffle that back in. Here we have our minion engaged with us. Now they have 5 health, still 1 armor, hits for 2 damage whenever you roll the claw symbol and they're in your space. Their grasp is suffering 3 damage and their inflict is 2 instead of 1. Still melee. You'll notice I set up peril tokens on the board, and that's due to this setup effect. Place 1 peril in each area with the discovery token. Now there's only 5 tokens out for solo instead of 7. I think that's right. We're just going to go with it. Peril tokens on the map are routes. There can only be 1 route per area. Each time a second route would be placed in an area, instead either place it in the nearest area with no route or on a scheme card if no areas remain. So we don't want that to happen because placing it on scheme cards makes it harder for us to clear. Once during our turn, a hero may spend 1 focus to discard a route from their area. We also have an upgraded card here for the villain, for Fendra. She now has 2 health, attacks for 2 instead of 1. Same effect though for the treachery. Finally, we have our scheme cards with 2 peril tokens on them, so now I need to have 3 total successes to remove these, and there's a chance more will show up. I think we're good. Let's just start our play for Act 2. Before I do that, I do want to call out why I placed the commoner there. It needed to be placed in a spawn space with the fewest enemies. Check. Closest to the hero. Well, 1, 2, or 1, 2. So why this one? Well, this area has a discovery token, so they will prioritize a discovery token if it's equal. And if both of those locations had discovery tokens, they would then look for a scheme token, and that's how you choose. Otherwise, then you just pick. So I think we're definitely going to start with our move action, moving here, and let's try and clear this. We need 3 successes. Our fortify is pretty awesome, so we'll gain the 2 guard. We're now at max guard. Let's explore. 3 blue dice to 1 red die. Well, that's 3 straight successes. That means we can just clear this one off, and that means for the final boss fight, we're only going to have a level 1 scheme instead of a level 2. We still have a ploy left. I could start trying to move over here, but I think I might forego that one, go here, try and at least get this one, and this one for our upgrades while clearing those schemes if possible. Oh, and yeah, while I'm here, what I can do is I can spend 1 of my focus going down to 2, and I'm going to remove this. That's going to be important. You do not want to have roots in your location. So now we're going to resolve the commoner. He'll start by grasping, but he can't hit us with that. Then he'll move, and then he'll try and inflict. His move will have him move adjacent to us, but we're still okay. Then we just draw one of these, and we have, okay, green. We can see that Fendra's not in the green zone, so she'll move there. And then each hero within range 1 of a root suffers 3 damage, and we're not within range 1. See why it's so important to get rid of those roots when we can. For our second action then, why don't we just reveal this? Yes, we have a talent upgrade. That was our ploy action. Let's draw our 2 talent cards. So we have a taunt, or we have determination. Play this card during your turn to choose a minion at range 1. It has to be a minion. You may move this enemy to your area. If this enemy is engaged to another hero, you may engage it. Otherwise, deal that enemy 1 damage. For us, that's just going to be dealing a damage. Then gain 1 guard and deal 1 damage to each enemy in your area. Why would I not take that? This one is about battle cry and healing. I haven't needed healing yet, so let's do the taunt, shall we? I haven't been using any of these cards. I am so ready to go. What do you say we try something? We're going to use our move to move here, and then we're going to try our charge. Play this before your cleave action. We're going to gain 1 of the focus, so we're back up to 3 focus. Then you may choose a hero in your area to move. We're going to move into here, and we are going to attack. Why don't we attack Fendra? She only has 2 health. She's very likely going to show back up again. Whoa, that is 1, 2, 3 successes. We'll place this token here so we can reroll and a block. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, we'll use 2 of them because you can see she has no shield. So we can use 2 of them to take her out. Since we dealt her damage equal to her health, we do get to draw one of these and we get a map again. That's actually amazing. That's the biggest thing right now in solos. I need as much movement as I can because I can't get to the whole board. So having extra movement is awesome. We will have to resolve that slash, and that's just going to be it for the commoner moving 1 space towards us. Oh, and I can't forget, I can save 2 of those successes as focus. We have 5 focus and 5 guard. The commoner will move 1 space closer to us because of that slash symbol that we rolled. Then we move to the enemy phase. He try and grasp. He would move, try and inflict, and he can't. And then we draw this. Oh, nice. You see this symbol? That's not out on the board anymore, so Fendra's still not going to show up. We do need to spawn. Each hero must exert 1. That means I have to discard 1 card from my hand with no effect. I think I'm going to do this counterattack. I haven't really been using it. If we can't do that, then it says each hero within range 1 of a root must exert 2 instead. No way, I have to exert 2? Oh, that's mean. Let's do... the taunt lets us move. Let's do the death blow for now. I just had to lose a bunch of cards. And we're going to have to spawn a minion. Our minion is going to be another commoner. I'm sorry, guys, this is random shuffled. That will be a green one. He will most certainly show up in this room because it's only 1 away from us and there is a discovery token. Okay, that was the end of turn 2. Do we want to fortify first, or do we want to go in there and attack? I think I want to go in there and attack. Or I could taunt and bring him into my room, but I could go in there, attack, and come back to this and deal with this next time. So I think for my free move, I'm going to move here. Then let's cleave. Cleave will be at 3 dice to the 2 dice here. Oh, that's actually okay. That symbol is not going to do anything because Fender's not on the board. Yes! So we can ignore that. We're heading for 1, 2, 3, 4. We need to deal 6 damage to take him out. So I'm going to use 2 of my focus to be able to take out, that was the green one. So this green one is off the board. We'll then draw a search card. Hopefully it's not a bad one. Oh, it's a key. Really? Discard this to either resolve, or we can grab a card of our choice. We could bank this guard, but my guard is already at 5, so I can't do that. I am going to spend another one of our focus to remove this root. I'd then like to continue to level up, so let's flip this for our ploy. We get another relic. That's our 3rd relic, and we have a Dougie's Pipe. Play this card during your turn to heal 1, and then gain 1 guard, and discard 1 peril from a scheme in your area. That'll end our activation. This zombie is going to just move here, slowly lumbering towards us. We have to draw another one of these. Once again, Fender doesn't show up. Each hero must exert 1, and we don't have to exert 2 because I'm not in a location with a root. That's why I got rid of the root. That means I have to discard one of these. I do think Dougie's Pipe, we'll just put that in the discard pile. But now I'm seeing the benefit of the battle cry, which, by the way, I can only roll 1 die for. For our next turn, I do think we're going to move into this space, and as much as I want to attack that commoner, I do think I'm going to do the Fortify. It means I'm giving up on the 2 extra guard, but I think that's worth it because I want to take out that scheme. 3 blue dice to 1 red. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 successes. I'll place this here for the 4th, and we'll roll this up. Okay, that's a shield. Well, that's actually helpful. That shield can be used. Yeah, can it be used? I don't know because I can't. I'm going to say that that can be used to block the attack from the Arthurian commoner, at least one of them. But we get to do the successes first. That's 3 successes. We needed 2 + 1 for the card. We've just gotten rid of Cartha's Codex. So that's 2 out of the 3 schemes handled. We then have that commoner in our space dealing us 2 damage. We'll block with this for 1 and put our other guard down to 4 to block the other. Then I think we're going to use our map here so we can move. We'll sneak ourselves into this room so we can fortify here. That'll end our turn. We then have the commoner grasping. He will move into our area and inflict us for 2 damage. Our guard is certainly coming into play. We're still at full health. We'll then draw our next event card. Okay, now Fender is going to show up right in our location. And it says each hero places 1 root in their area. Yeah, I was assuming these were going to show up more. We're going to place that there, but we're okay. She doesn't scheme there because she wasn't even on the board, but she now shows back up. And then I think we are going to most certainly fortify for our turn. We want to get rid of this. And that means we're only dealing with level 1 schemes for the finale. Before we do that though, we're going to go down to 1 focus and we're going to discard this root. I don't want to be around roots. Actually, you know what? We're going to take that back. We're going to go back to 2. If I get myself away from this, which I should be able to, I might want to get rid of the roots over here. So yeah, we're just going to do the fortify. With that fortification, we'll increase our guard by 2, back up to 4. This will be a 3 dice to 1 die. Wow, only 2 successes. So I will spend 1 focus going down to 1. That will clear the final scheme. But now we only have 1 insight left. We can bank 1 of those guards, so we're at 5 total guard. We've completed our action. We're going to do our move over here, and then we are going to do the rest action to heal 2 and refresh a card. Yeah, that's what I want to do. And I am going to just refresh a single card. I don't need to heal, but what I really want is more of my cards back. I want my charge back. So I'm going to put that into my hand. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to discard this key so I can pick up the stamina potion and discard this to refresh 2 more cards. Don't mind if I do. I had to lose so many gosh darn cards. So that will mean I'll get Death Blow and Dougie's Pipe. Those 2 will go back into my hand. The only exhausted card then that I have is Counterattack. Everything else is in my hand. That will mean during the enemy phase, this commoner is going to move into our space, attack us again for 2, so we're down to 3 guard, but we're still okay for health. Then we draw one of these. Oh, we spawn a minion. We can ignore this. It says each hero within range 1 of a root suffers 3 damage. No way. I should have gotten rid of that and I didn't. The enemy that we will draw is a blue Ash Hand Fighter. So that's going to show up the closest spawn point right here or right here. And neither of them have, I'm going to say it's going to be here. It seems to make more sense. It makes it a little bit harder. So I'm going to grab him, place him here, and then I lose 3 guard. That actually puts our guard down to 0 because I wasn't smart enough to get rid of this. And we have 2 enemies engaged. Unfortunately for us, this second act is going to go incredibly fast. There's only 1 more card here. That means I have at most 2 turns. So what I think I'm going to do, I'm going to move into here. I am going to do the taunt. Play this card during your turn to choose. Oh, well, is it worth doing this? Why I'm saying that is taking out 1 would give me a search card, which I'd have to be able to use next time, but it potentially could also deal us damage. Yeah, I think I'm going to do it. Play this card during your turn to choose a minion at range 1. You may move this enemy into your area. So we're going to pull him into our area. And then it says we can deal that enemy 1 damage. Then gain 1 guard and deal 1 damage to each enemy in your area. Whoa! So we just dealt 2 damage to this guy, 1 damage to that guy, and we gained 1 total guard. Then what we get to do is some cleaving. Why don't we play this Harvester while we cleave? Play this card before your cleave action to add 1 crit and 1 regular success to this action. This means I already have 2 successes, and I could potentially, for that crit, just deal 3 damage to an enemy in your area. Oh, that seems like a lot of fun. Let's go ahead and roll our dice and see what we get. We get 2 more gosh darn crits. Well, let's use 1 crit. Oh, I should have called out who I'm attacking. I'm attacking the commoner for this, but in this game, if ever you have extra successes, when you attack, you can roll them over to another enemy in your area. Has to be in your area to do that. So I'm going to use this crit just to deal a straight 3 damage. So that's 3 damage. Then I've got 4, 5. So I'm going to turn this to a 3. And then I get to roll this one in because it's a crit. Plus I get another crit that I haven't rolled in for that yet. Oh my gosh. That's going to be a 4. I think it's just safe to say I've killed all these. I'm going to roll this up. That's a 5. Are you kidding me? I'm going to roll this. Okay, that gives us a shield. So we've got 5. We've got 2 guard, which I'm going to increase my guard to 3 so I don't forget. I still have another crit I hadn't rolled for. That gives us another success, and that's 2 more guards. So that will put us up to 5 total guard. We're dealing 3 damage from the death blow here. Plus 5, plus 2 more. So 3, 5 is 8, 9, 10. We need 1, 2, 3, 4 to take out the commoner. Then 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We just took them both out. And we gain a search card, which is a trap. You can spend a focus to discard this card and draw a new search card. We're going to do that. Actually, are we? We could just suffer 2 damage. I think let's spend the focus so we can draw a new one. Hopefully it's not bad. Oh, it's another spike trap. Well, that was dumb. I'm going to take 2 damage. I must not have done a good job shuffling. So that means I'm knocked down to 10 total health. But now I am going to get attacked by the leftmost one. He deals me 2 damage. I've got 5 guards, so that goes down to 3. And then this triggers. That would be Fendra strikes you. If unable, place 1 peril on the scheme nearest her. There's no schemes out. So I don't think that triggers at all. What a turn. But both those enemies are gone. For our ploy then, we will jump into this room so we can check this out for our next turn. There's no enemies out, so we just flip this. Okay, we get a new one, and Fendra's not going to move. Each hero places a root in their area. Well, we'll just place this here. And for our minion, we have a witch that's going to show up. She is going to show up here. That's going to be the closest location, a green witch. Our final action then for this round, we are going to upgrade. And we're going to upgrade our battle cry because that's our only one that we can have a dice upgrade. Let's remove our second lock token, and now our battle cry will be worth 2 dice instead of 1. We will then most certainly do our prepare. We'll roll 2 blue dice and 1 red. We'll roll these on up. We've got 2 total successes. We know that this witch is going to have each here within range to lose 1 total insight. What I could do, I think I'm going to leave my insight at 0, which is going to stink for next time, but I am going to refresh 2 cards. I'm going to refresh the Harvester and the Death Blow. These two are going to go back into my hand. That means these two are still sitting out. She then would try and attack us at 3, and she can because she is a range. So I have 3 guard. It goes down to 0. I have no guard remaining. After this action, you may either gain 1 insight or engage 1 minion for the target. Well, I can gain an insight that I'm just going to lose. Bummer. It is what it is. I can't forget I did roll that 1 shield, so I'll gain 1 block for that. That's important because I'll move into this space, but that's about all I can do. She's then going to activate. She'd Hex, and we lose the 1 insight that we have. That's what we have to do there. Then she's going to move and then inflict 2 damage because she's ranged. Well, I've got 1 guard, so I'll block 1, and then I'll go down to 9 health. And then we draw an event card, but there aren't any more event cards, so that is going to end Act 2. We're going to move to the finale with 9 health, and I was hoping to have some guard and some focus. I don't have either. It is what it is. Let's see how we do. We'll set it up. The good thing is none of these have been upgraded, so we're all going to be at level 1s. We're now all set up and ready to go to fight against Fendra in the finale. Oh, this is going to be fun. So we still have the same 3 scheme tokens. We need to remove all 3 of those tokens before we can defeat Fendra, but I believe we can deal damage to Fendra if we'd like along the way. We no longer have environmental scheme cards. We're going to use the scheme cards that Fendra has been trying to increase throughout the game and has failed to do so far. Each of these have 3 peril tokens, so I need to have 4 total progress on these to remove them. Once I remove these, I can defeat Fendra. Fendra has her own set of 6 cards. These are the event cards we're going to be drawing. We have our villain setup. We placed 1 peril token on each of these spaces on the board. They're called First Mothers. Once during their turn, a hero in an area with a First Mother or scheme token may spend 1 guard to discard the First Mother nearest them from the map. Yeah, I really wanted to have some guard left over, but I didn't. The final version of Fendra is actually up to 4 cards large, but because we're playing solo, we only have the main card for Fendra. So Fendra has 10 health. Her inflict is, I shouldn't say her inflict, whenever we roll the claw symbols, if we're within range 1 of her, because this is a range 1, she'll attack us for 2 damage. She has 1 shield. We still have the treachery. A hero must spawn the topmost minion from the enemy discard pile. If unable to, she assaults instead. When she assaults, she'll inflict 3 at range 1. She's not kill us so fast. If there were other players would have their own version of Fendra in front of them, and we'd also have to defeat those. So all we have to do is deal 10 damage to Fendra and clear out those 3 schemes. We do still have to spawn 1 enemy engaged with us, so we have the green neck archer as well, and we've placed that archer right here. So I think we're just ready. Let's start. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to move into this location with this archer. I really want to clear this out. I need 4 successes though, but I'm rolling 3 dice with my Fortify. And I'm going to be able to gain some of the guard, so I think that's what I'm going to do. Before doing that, we're going to use our Dougie's Pipe. Play this card during your turn to heal 1. So that's going to move us up to 10 health. We're going to gain 1 guard, so we have 1 guard, and we're going to discard 1 peril from that scheme. So now I only need 3 successes. We'll also gain 2 more guard from that Fortify. We only need 3 successes here. We've got double crits. I really should have a token. Well, here, we'll use this. 2 total successes for these, and we'll roll them up. Oh my gosh, it's going to give us a 3rd one. Wow. And let's roll this up again. How many successes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, we only need 1, 2, 3. We only need 3 from here, and then I'm going to use the rest as insight, or I call it insight, it's focus. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're up to 4 total focus. Now, this would go off, and what that is a hero must spawn the topmost minion in the enemy discard pile. If unable to, Fendra would assault us, but she's not within range 1, so she can't hit us. Instead, does she move towards us? I'm not sure. I'm going to say that she stays where she's at because she's going to want to scheme in that location because there's still a scheme token there. I'm going to remove this one, and that was a pretty solid first turn. We have a total of 3 guard. Let's take it down to 2 and remove this First Mother just in case that's going to matter. And then we can do a ploy. That could allow us to move, but if we move, that green neck archer is going to attack us. So I think we're instead just going to do the heal one. Yeah, let's do the heal 2 and refresh 1 card. So I'm going to go up to full health of 12, and I can refresh one of these 3. And I think I'm going to grab let's grab the counterattack this time. We're going to put the counterattack into our hand. We then have to resolve an enemy phase. Inflict 3 at range 1. Fendra can't hit us. Then we have the green neck archer. She could prick, inflict 2, targeting hero at range 1. Well, we're at range 0, so that won't happen, but then it'll move, and then it's going to prick us for 2 damage. That will push our guard down to 0. We'll have that green neck archer move 1 away, deals us that 2 damage, and we're good. Now we're going to draw the top card here. Oh, so we can see Fendra is going to jump over to here. And then we have place 1 peril in a location without peril, of course. Well, I'm so glad I got rid of that. Won't place it there. Then each hero within range 1 of the first mother suffers 2 damage. So we are going to suffer 2 damage. My guard is totally gone, so I'm down to 10 health. I tried to get rid of that. Each other hero would lose 1 focus. At least we can keep our 4 focus. And no spawning. So that was good. That was a good first round. We're then going to just keep going on these. Oh, do I want to? Let's see. 1, 2. No, I'm going to go this way. I'm going to move 1 here. And then for my ploy, I'm going to move here. And let's fortify again. Doing that fortification will give us 2 block or 2 guard. And then we'll try and get rid of that other scheme token. Let's roll up our dice. And we have 1, 2, 3. That is a crit. So we have 3 successes, and wow, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need 4 to clear this one off, and then for that 1 extra, we'll go to 5 total focus. That is amazing. We are clearing these out fast. We do have to resolve this claw, and that claw is an inflict 3 at range 1. I mean, I've got to assume she's going to move, but she won't be able to attack us. And I can't forget, of course, I gained 2 more guards, so my guard is at 4. She's going to move herself right here, ready to be able to inflict 3 to us in just a second. We already did a move and a ploy, and we did our action. I could give up 1 guard, and I think I'm going to heal by 2, so I'm back up to full health. And I could get rid of a guard to get rid of one of these, but I'm still going to be adjacent to 2 first mothers, so I don't think I'm going to do that at all. I'm just going to end my turn. All I need to do now is get rid of this token here. Let's draw our next card. Oh, that's an enemy. That's the wrong one. We'll draw this one. Okay, it's blue. So she's just going to jump over to here. And then what do we have? Place 1 peril on the first mothers. Place 1 peril on first mothers. Oh, we can. So she would assault instead. By placing a peril here, we now have 4 perils. So I'm going to need 5 successes to clear the first mothers. And I'm so sorry, I got all excited. I forgot the enemy phase. So when she was here, she would have inflicted us for 3. We had 3 guards, so that clears our guard. And then she'd move here. And then we'd have the prick, which can't do anything here for the archer. The archer would move here and then prick us for 2. So we're back down to 10 total health. Ooh, okay, caught us up. Sorry about missing the enemy phase. That will end this round. We're going to move to our next round. I think we're just going to try and clear this last one. I've got so much focus. We should be able to clear that, and then we just have to take her out. So I'm going to move 2 using that ploy to move here, and we're going to fortify. That will gain us 2 focus again, and then we're rolling 3 blue against the 2 red. We'll roll up the dice, and we've got 3 successes with a crit. So I'll place this here for the crit, and we'll re-roll this in. That's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm definitely going to use 1 focus. Going down to 4. That will clear the last of these schemes. Wow, I wasn't expecting to clear them that fast, but now that they're all cleared, Fendra is vulnerable. We just have to deal her 10 damage. That's all we've got to do. In the meantime, though, she would try and inflict, and she can't. And then we have the archer pricking, can't prick, but we'll move here and can prick, so that means our guard is down to 0. We're at 10 health. We do have to draw one of these. Okay, we do have an enemy spawn. We can ignore this. I'm going to shuffle these enemies because I accidentally saw that top card when I drew it. We have another archer. So that archer is going to show up right here, a red archer. We would then need to place 1 peril on the first mothers. If unable to, Fendra assaults instead. Well, her assault is 3 damage at range, but we're in her space. So I don't think she can hit us. So we'll just end there. After that, it is going to go back to our turn. I think, well, I've got to spawn. Oh, I already spawned the enemy. So I've got 2 of those there. I think I'm going to use something. It's just a question of what do I want to use. I'm going to try my combo for the Harvester and Death Blow. So this is going to deal 3 damage to an enemy in your area. I'm going to use that crit for that. So we're going to deal 3 damage to Fendra. We have 1 additional auto success, and we're going to roll our dice up. We've got our 1 guaranteed hit here. We'll roll our dice in. Okay, we have 2 more crits. Oh my goodness. We will switch this from a 1 to a 3, and then we will, let's see, we will roll these 2 over again, and we get another crit, so that will be a 4. Why are we going to just kill her right here? And we get to roll this one in again. That's 2 more. So we're dealing 3 damage with this. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We just killed her. She would try and hit us for 2 different, well, for 1 damage. She would try and attack us, but she has to move away from us. And then the blue archer, oh, I actually put a red instead of a blue, whatever. That archer would attack us for 2 damage. We would go down to 8 health, but we just totally killed Vendra. I don't know. That felt a little bit too easy. I might have made some mistakes, but at least I'm showing you how the game works. The card play is awesome in this game. I really enjoy how this system works. It feels just like Warhammer Adventure card game, except for that you can do the same action over and over again. I kind of prefer in Warhammer where you'd use something and exhaust it and then have to make it ready again, but I understand that that's a little bit harder in this system, and this gives you more flexibility. But heck, I mean, I just ran around and fortified 3 times and then cleaved, right? It was cool, but I did feel like it was pretty straightforward. Now I was playing a straightforward hero here because this is of course a new game and it is a prototype version, so I think a lot of that will be cleaned up. Also, I do think there'll be lots more variety with the villains and with the different minion types and the different environments. You combine all of that together, you're going to get a lot of juicy, fun experiments, really. This game will literally take you 5 minutes to set up on the board and just start playing, and I love that. I love being able to jump in and play. You're not going to have tons of things that you have to find and pull out to play this game. You just combine a couple villain sets, or I should say minion sets, 1 villain, you pick out 2 environments, you're good to go. I do think the solo works well, however, you get really powerful. Maybe there should be a few less discovery tokens on the board. I don't really know how to balance all of that, but I do love the cards. I love that you also have options with crits, so I don't have to be a crit of just re-rolling more dice. It can actually activate other effects. That's really cool. The schemes don't go off enough. We didn't even see any of these schemes because the villain has to be in that area when you activate. And most of these cards for the sets of activations only have 1 card per location, or 2 cards per location. So in order for them to actually scheme in the blue location, one of these would move it to them and the other one would actually activate it. But if they're not in that order, then they're never activating them, they're just jumping between them. I'm hoping as the game continues in its development, they find a way to have these schemes activate more often, because otherwise they kind of feel like a non-issue in the game, which is a bummer because it seems so cool. You've got all that text, you've got all that effort of putting those cards out. You want them to do something, right? Even if it's bad. Hopefully this helps you determine if you'd like to back this game or not. I want to give a huge shout out to our patrons and subscribers. It's because of you that Barrett and I do what we do on this channel. Also, a huge thank you to the Sadler brothers for being able to showcase this game on the channel. If you're excited to see what Barrett and I have coming next, then I need you to meet me at the table. Goodbye, everyone.